Now, let me turn to Kisumu on behalf of the governor who had not been able to join us, but has sent a really very able person to convey their expectations. So I'm honored to invite Mr. Aloice Ager, who is the special advisor to the governor and head of Africities Secretariat, and also director of Governor's Press Unit. So you could not, dream to have the person who knows in and out of everything to really tell us what Kisumu expects and what they stand for, and how this webinar could help in shaping really a successful Africities. So, Aloice, you have the floor, sir. You are still on mute, eh?
Yeah, I'm on mute. Sorry. Thank you.
Ahead,
thank you, Remy. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all on the call. It is indeed a pleasure to join you here on behalf of His Excellency, the Governor of Kisumu County, who would have really loved to be here, but because of certain unavoidable circumstances, he asked me to sit in for him and present some of his thoughts with at this webinar. Now, as has been said by Remy in his opening remarks, Africities, the 9th edition, is fast approaching its finish line, coming up in May. And we couldn't be happier and clearer as we walk towards that date. And looking at the theme of this webinar and in relation to the theme of the Africities, they really speak to each other. So this coming summit, as you will appreciate, will be a first in many ways because most importantly, it will be the first summit to be held in a secondary city that we are discussing here today. Now, that then opens the way to other secondary cities to play a crucial role, at this level, but it also presents a platform where secondary cities will take the lead in the discussion of affairs that directly affect them at the summit. Now, as the host and on behalf of the governor, may I take this opportunity to assure you that Kisumu, and by extension, the government of Kenya, has laid down plausible measures to ensure that the 9th edition of Africities will go down in history as the most memorable event of the Africities. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me therefore to present some thoughts as presented by His Excellency. Although Africa is the least urbanite among the most 6 continents, it presents the greatest urban frontier. It presents the greatest urban frontier experiencing rapid urbanization. In Africa, unlike in the development continents of America, Europe, and parts of Asia, the growth in urban population is mainly happening in small and medium cities. This is a departure from urban primacy that has dominated the urbanization in most African countries, where most urban growth were in major cities, mainly capital cities. This has been buttressed by rural urbanization migration in search of opportunities such as high-wage employment, better living standards, especially in the years following attainment of independence by a number of African countries. These second-tier counties, mainly referred to as subnational cities, have in a way helped to ease pressure on the major capitals of Africa, whether you're talking about Democratic Republic of Congo's Lubumbashi and Kinshasa, Ghana's Tamale and Takoradi on one hand, and Accra and Kumasi on the other hand, or Kenya's Kisumu, Nakuru and Eldoret on one hand, and Nairobi on the other. The dispersal in urban growth is also explained in part by a system of governors that place subnational cities under the jurisdiction of respective semi-autonomous local and regional governments. In acting as checkers to urban primacy, Intermediary subnational cities provide avenue of stepping down the positive impacts of urbanization and easing the pressure on capital and first-tier cities. They provide alternative spaces for economic development, employment creation, arresting the rural-urban migration into the capitals, into the capital and or capital cities. On a regional scale, intermediary cities help to interlink rural spaces that occur between them. This provides opportunities for movement of supplies such as food, water, and even labor, especially in the peri-urban areas, while on the other hand, the rural areas benefit from market for agricultural products, especially food and raw materials for industries. The best way to maximize then on the benefits of connectivity of intermediary cities with other or the surrounding rural hinterlands is through effective policy and legal framework. For instance, in the Kenyan case, the Constitution and other laws provide for devolved system of governance and how they are to be managed and governed. The County Government Act 2012 provide for formulation of 5-year county integrated development plans and 10-year county spatial plans that help in directing development accordingly. The spatial plan in particular helps, among other things, to help maintain a balance between rural and urban areas, including sustainable exploitation and utilization of natural resources. Other laws include the Urban Areas and Cities Act that provides for classification of urban areas into markets, towns, municipalities, and cities, and the governance and administration of those urban areas. This helps to create order, first within the urban spaces and between the urban areas and surrounding rural or peri-urban areas. The policy and legal framework also acts to avert negative or unhealthy relationship between the urban and rural spaces. For instance, properly done spatial plans address issues of exploitation of rural natural resources like water, quarries, etc., and pollution through poor and ineffective solid waste management. In this past system of governance like what we have in Kenya, where we find local governments that have cities and rural hinterland living side by side, there must be a system of integrating the two for sustainable development. In Kisumu, the city sits at the apex, or Kisumu city sits at the apex of the county urban system. Its management and governance anchored on integrated strategic urban plan and local physical and land use development, which highlights how the city relates to its surrounding areas, including the smaller urban areas. These are deliberate steps to ensure that management for the city and urban areas are effectively managed for efficient service delivery. Together with Kisumu City, the sub-county urban system is well connected through that planning framework. Having looked at the roles played by intermediary cities, it's noteworthy to point out that the balance between urban and rural interface need not to be destabilized to ensure harmony. From the issues argued above, the role of intermediary cities cannot be overemphasized, whether within the national framework or subnational or regional level. They are the frontiers for African urbanization, presents opportunity for sustainable urban development in Africa, but only with deliberate efforts. As such, therefore, full attention needs to be given to the secondary cities through resource allocation for infrastructure and institutional capacity development for effective service delivery. Kisumu, like other intermediary cities of Africa, must therefore be encouraged to embrace sustainable urbanization, as this will be the only way their roles in responding to global agenda, such as the SDGs, will be appreciated. As I conclude, may I take this very special opportunity to once again welcome you to Kisumu for the 9th edition of the Africities Summit coming up in May, as we begin the journey in earnest of celebrating the role of intermediary cities in addressing sustainable urbanization and the delivery of SDGs, especially in this last decade of its implementation. I thank you. Thank you.